You do? Thanks, man. I appreciate that, man.
Especially the photos around.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like, you're like proud of being black.
I'm glad you said that, bro.
Success.
I'm glad you said that because that's the goal.
Yeah. And I like Nipsey Hussle, so that's one of my dogs right there.
I know, man. Right there. It's your brother close to your country as well.
Yeah, Ethiopian.
Yeah, my man. A powerful area, you know what I mean? Ethiopia, Eritrea. Yep. That corner is very, very powerful in the history of Africa, you know?
Yeah, it's like, it's one of the first ever civilizations, has a lot of history, a lot of like great, leaders that's come from there.
Yeah.
A lot of great history when it comes to the religion, to Judaism, a lot of even Islamic aspects of it. So yeah, it's just, it's a deep, deep rooted faith and history when it comes to Ethiopian.
For real. The first thing first, before we jump in already, I want to welcome a special guest of mine. And this is a Rafiki Talk podcast. Welcome back to our podcast. And I usually don't want to introduce people because I feel like people are more than what I'm thinking. So I'm going to let Ali himself introduce himself. But first thing first, we welcome you at the show, Ali. Thank you.
Of course, man, no doubt. I think, first off, I really want to thank you for even giving me the opportunity to come. And do you want me to mask up or is it?
No, just, as you want, man.
My name is Ali, Abdul Ali, and I'm 24 years old. I am the advocacy director of Main Youth Justice, which is a campaign to close down a juvenile facility. I've been working with them for 2 years. Prior to that, I've been 6.5 years of theater, theater of the oppressed. Talk about stories that happen inside the juvenile facility and stuff like that, so we can change the way that we looked at policy in particular, and what people are going through inside there. And then now I also work with the University of Southern Maine as a policy assistant. I'm a co-director of Opportunity Scholars, which is a program to help anybody that's previously incarcerated to get into higher education. Also a co-director of Young People's Caucus, and now I just recently, last summer, after the Black Lives Matter, the mayor elected or appointed a few people to be part of the Race and Equity Committee to give the recommendations for the police this upcoming year. So I'm part of that, on that committee also.
You're a busy young man, fam,
Yeah, man, you gotta be ready.
My man. So, first thing I heard your podcast, and when I heard you talk, I was amazed. First of all, you sound young, but your story was very powerful still. And then I visit your page, of course, and I finished both one part and the second part of the podcast, and I got to your page, and then I start to see your poetry. I think I saw you at the park when the Black Lives Matter, we went there to the park to finish. I saw you do the poem, but I didn't know you, right? I was like, man, young man is talented. That's it, right? Yeah. So after all, I start to attach stuff together, put the dots together, and then when I saw even your everything, just my mind was brought. I was like, man, I have to know you personal, and I have to really, literally, just get close to you because I'm not gonna learn so much from you.
Right, no, I appreciate it.
For sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, I really appreciate you even reaching out to me.
Of course, man.
To do this, so.
No, for sure, man. So as young you are, right? It's like it's rare. Like I was telling you before, even this. Sometimes I talk to my friends that sometimes really our conversation is not. It's like there's so many things we don't understand around the system, around everything going on, especially in America. Even this system affect Africa, even though people don't see that as well. When you were incarcerated, did you ever before that, like before you get in jail, all the time you went, all the thing you've been through, did you ever see yourself where you are right now as active or stuff you're doing? You ever seen this happen to you before it happens or when you were there?
You know, life has its twists and turns, and there's certain circumstances that'll affect your decision, and then from there you start to see something manifest, and it depends on the type of motive in your mind you have, because the more trauma you have, the better activist you become.
Wow.
The more stuff you see, the more radical you become.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just what life is. The harder stuff you go through, the tougher you come out. And growing up, before I was locked up, I've been through a lot of life experiences as a kid.
Right.
I was raised. Technically was raising myself because my mother and father split. My mother wasn't in the same state. My father worked a lot, so I raised myself. You have to just get a hold. And I didn't think anything was wrong. You feel me? But to see myself in a different image, as in where I am right now, at that age, I don't think so. I was very quiet, but I knew I had potential. I never talked, but I knew there was something that gave me potential. I knew I was my worth, but I didn't know how to push it. I didn't know how to physically do it, but in my mind, it kept sitting in my head. And it just took a while to really, get into my energy, because I think everybody has it. Everybody has something they're good at. Everybody, but they just haven't tried it, practiced it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're nice at all, you're nice in the beginning, but if you practice it, you become better.
Better.
Right?
Yeah.
So once I figured out what I liked,
wow,
practiced it, and I came better.
I think you're honestly blessed to cut that at a young age, because what happened is sometimes it take forever. Sometimes you don't even get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for you to channel that and then really develop that at this young you are, it's amazing. And you've been doing this for
8 years now.
Come on, man. So you were still teen when you were already channeled that, and start to go in. So you said something about parenting. This is something I've been really trying to talk about some of my friends, especially who African came here. There's this thing that African come here with the family, right? Like a parenting. They really get so hard to accept the system. It's different than African culture and the African system. So you see, like African parents try to hold that resentment, that condition of raising kids as African, but they are here, and the system here is powerful than them. And what happens is kids become the kids of system, and the kids become more so just lost in the middle of it. So what's your experience? It happened to you. What do you see so far? This taking African families in America.
Every African family is different. Every family period is different.
Right.
I just think that if you want to kind of paint a picture of the majority of the reason issues that happens, especially in African families in particular, they come here with a mind that's strong. Period. We're gonna get this way. It's my way or the highway.
That's right.
I remember my mom saying that. My father was very strong and hard on me too. But you have to understand, this child, he's fighting and arguing with you, but that's not all he's fighting, or she's fighting. They're going into school and they're dealing with people talking to them in a low,
thank you,
weird less.
That's true.
As the teachers. And then when you're here reading the history books, they're telling you were a slave. They don't even say in an apologetic way. They're just saying this is what we did. We captured them. They showed you the photos of all the slaves they brought over. They were beat. They were this, that. That's just normally, it's okay. That's normal.
Yeah.
And we freed them. Well, Abraham Lincoln did this and that. So, but it just made it, to white people, they're blind. They're just saying, white people did, we got better. We're better now. But
right.
The black people were just why the hell are we talking about this? And white heroes freed the black slaves, as if there's the value of black is low.
You know what's funny about that?
Yeah.
Still right now, so I come from Rwanda, right? It happened to, was a tribal issue, and then the huge genocide in 1994. Yes. I was 7 that time. So So I come here, I met with, I come here and they tell me, so we come from Rwanda. Oh, Hotel Rwanda, that kind of reference.
The Hutus is
Yeah. You Hutu, stuff like that. But anyway, the funny things that I always see, the proud of America or even white people got is to say, I'm sorry we didn't come to, they think they're responsible for everything. Basically, they say, oh, we're sorry America didn't do anything.
That's what they say?
Right. So I was like,
crazy.
why you always think you have to do everything to anything going on in all over the world? You know what I mean?
Americans have been fooled to see as if they're a savior. Jesus saved.
Yeah.
He's a white man, but Jesus wasn't even white.
No.
They're literally. So this is the thing. Like, your brain is accustomed to anything it hears. If you consistently hear, you are a bad kid. You are a bad kid. You're gonna hear it bad. If you are black and you are low, you're gonna believe it, unless there's another outlet telling you that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have two. So when white people don't tell them, you're wrong, bro. You are absolutely wrong. I'll tell you why. And we do that out of anger, out of response, because we're taught how to be violent.
Yeah.
But when we have education and we have these proofs saying, hey, I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong. Scientifically, you're conditioned to act like this.
Yes.
What you don't see is the books tell you this. What you don't see is the percentages of this. And then they start to realize, damn, like, wow, I am kind of blind.
Right.
Notice this stuff.
Honestly.
Yeah. So, I mean, to go back to that question, like, so our African parents, right, after the kids go through all this stuff, and then they come home with a characteristic of American. You have American children in your African home.
Mm-hmm.
And how did the African parents feel like that? What? My house?
Yes.
My house. And then it's like, okay, you want to kick this child out? Okay, let this child go out. And when they go out into the streets, when the police officers are in the communities, right? Because when Africans first come, where do they go? They go inside the low income.
Mm-hmm.
You know the history of low income houses? The history of low income houses was everybody in America lived in these houses. But when people came back from war, they created suburbs. And after they created all the suburbs, the government gave the people that were white in the middle class loans at $14,000 per house, maybe $15,000 per house, maybe $17,000 a house. And they denied it for black people. They gave it to the white people. And they gave it to, natives, even natives they denied it. So when the white people moved, who's left inside the community? It was poor black people, poor white people, and native people. So this is the low income, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they created highways to divide. So now if you even look right now, the highway, you see Kennedy Park right here, and then across the highway, what do you see? North Deering is green.
Yes.
It's beautiful, green ones. Green lawns, right? Less police, more police in Kennedy Park. That's how they divided it all over the whole country in 50 states. So when they did this, when the Africans come, they think, wow, we get free house. But they don't understand that inside these houses is already a trap.
It's already.
So when you go into this, your fence has a fence.
Mm-hmm.
Over here is downtown. Right next to downtown. Why is it next to downtown? Tall buildings, courthouse. So police officers here. And they're watching you. And at the age of 5 or 6, the kids, as an adults, we're like, Africans just came from war. They don't see no problems with this, but the kids, they see it through the window. The police officers, they're fear. So now you're telling the kids to run outside, get out. You're going to act like that at age 15, 16. And when they see the police officers, they're going to chase them. And then now they're in the trap houses, chilling.
Yes.
Sipping and smoking because that's what they hear from the music.
Right.
Everything is learning, right? So now you're wondering, what happened to our kids? What happened to our kids? So you're going to blame the kid when you see all the circumstances around them are messed up in the first place. So us as African parents, what they have to realize this. Yes, there's conditioning to not forget who you are.
True.
But also have the heart and understand that, listen.
Right.
Instead of talking, Africans, we talk. We talk above each other. We don't listen.
It's true. So you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. I know have a daughter is a blessing.
Right, yeah.
How do you balance your heritage as Ethiopians and American, all this you just say, how do you balance that to make sure like she's getting healthy, raise, mindset, all that together, to balance the culture here and to keep what heritage, where she's from?
Everything is act. I act, she's gonna act. I can't tell her nothing. She's a boss. She's 3, she's already a boss. So me and her mom have different cultures. We have same cultures, like similar cultures, but we have different lifestyles. So her mom has a different lifestyle than I have a lifestyle. So for example, if I'm praying, I pray 5 times a day. So if I pray, my daughter, she started not praying with me. She does everything, even like how Muslims we pray.
Right.
Finger up.
Ashhadu. Yeah.
She comes down.
Yes.
She's looking at my finger.
That's right.
This,
yes.
And she's playing, but she's like, oh, I'm gonna pray.
Exactly, man.
So this is how I get when I'm reading. She has a book too. She reads.
Wow.
She doesn't even know how to read. She just
exactly
pretend like she does.
Yes.
So that's how I'm conditioning, because what my parents didn't do, like one of my parents did, I did.
Yeah.
So my parents didn't do it, and they weren't even around most of the time. So I would watch other people
yeah.
to try to figure out how they did their stuff.
Wow.
So I think that's like the most important to balance.
100%.
Yeah.
Somebody says true. The kids, the more words, the words or whatever you say is less than they see what they're watching. They're most, they're very, and they watch when you now know they're watching as well. It's crazy. Yeah, man. So another thing I would try to ask you, right, that as a system, as a systematically like that, you focus on a Juve, right? Do you know, or do you have any other connection with organization that try to find the balance to education or economy, because all this is together, right? So do you have any other attachment or other alliance to work with this kind of programs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a full-time student at the University of Southern Maine also, and I work with Casco Bay High School right now, Portland High School kids.
Right.
And then we do work around the juvenile justice system, closing down the juvenile facility, reinvesting the money back into the communities that's been affected the most. In particular, the criminal justice system. Yes, juvie it is, but the whole criminal justice system. But the first we start with kids.
Right.
Why? Why do we start with kids? Because school to the juvenile justice system. There's a school to prison pipeline. Why is there a pipeline? And ask yourself, if there's a way to get somewhere, people are gonna go. But if you eliminate a pipeline and you only have options to go to higher education, then that's it. From school to college. But if you have to jail, then that's an option. And that's where a lot of black kids are going. So it's going, and it's not because of them. It's because of what's affecting them.
Right.
So now, if we shut this down and we close this, because 44% of the kids here, recidivism, go to the prison. So now, if you have 44% of the kids that are locked up go to prison, what did you just create? What did you just create? So to even talk about prisons, we have to talk about what it starts. The running water. If the water's running and it's too much, the sink is filling up, you want to fix the bottom, you want to turn off the water first. You got to turn off the water. So we want to eliminate what's happening to the kids so we can work on what's on the adults.
Man, I honestly, man, I was saying this to you even before. Like, what you're doing is not even the kids right now. It's not even your, for your friends, like something like that. It's the future of this country, straight up, you know what I mean? Because you're young. I can't even believe how responsibilities you have, and you're engaged, you're sharp. You just, to me, man, you're a genius young man, honestly, you know what I mean? So another thing I was trying to ask you, is we saw black people for years, man, even slavery time, screaming for freedom. Still, what's the good way? Because even though the last Black Lives Matter movement was very impactful all over the world, what's a good way? Is a peaceful protest? Is a what approaching this? How can we really move forward with this? How can we do this?
Well, I mean, this is the first thing. You can't change the world without changing yourself. That's impossible. Don't even think about going out there doing some work without working on yourself. Because it's just like this. If I'm going to teach, for example, I'm going to teach my daughter Quran, but I don't know Quran. It's not going to work, right? So it's just like, how do we change ourselves as human beings? I'm in this white world, right? And this is the honest truth. This is a white world in America. How can we do what we have to take power? What's power? Not take power away from them,
right?
But to make sure you have a seat on the table. The number one thing you have to do is it's capital, right? So if you want to get money, then you have to have an education. right? And it can be your own education, but
Mm-hmm.
people, they want to see that degree.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, this is one of the biggest things, to have a degree, to have a business so you can talk money, right?
Right.
So, or to have like knowledge from something, deep knowledge.
That's right.
That's not accessible,
Mm-hmm.
right? So these things will help us get out. It's not, let me get the fastest way. People build 20 years of their career, right? 20 years and then they make it. For example, Kevin Hart, he's in his 40s. People just started seeing him 5-10 years ago, 20 years, or maybe 15 years ago. He was started when he was 20s.
Right.
Right. Dave Chappelle, now he's coming back, right? When he was starting when he was 16, 17, he was talking about it. So we have to understand that we're not going to get this where we want to be now. Exactly.
Next week.
But this is the work.
Yes.
The hard work is the bottom. It's everything.
Right.
So I think individually, after you change yourself, then you have to impact two things. You have to affect, so there's two things, right? There's the white system, right?
Mm-hmm.
The white system, and then there's the black people. Educate the black people, motivate the black people, and inspire the black people, support the black people. But you have to fight the systems. You have to fight the systems with freshman. You have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's a constant battle, but you have to find your balance. And it's a very dangerous thing to do too, because you're risking your life. When you get into this work, you're risking your life, and that's just the truth. People would rather just, hey, leave me alone. I work 9 to 5. I'm gonna stay home. I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
But it's the risks you take. Like, you have one life. You know what I mean? And in this life, you figure out, what's the best way that you can use your
100%.
talents. Yeah.
Honestly, I tell my boys, like, as a black person, as African person, whatever you are, as a black person, honestly, it's your responsibility.
Yes.
Literally, you know what I mean? Don't worry about somebody else. You personally, it's your responsibility to do something when you get a chance to, something's wrong, as your opportunity to say, to do, to teach somebody. Right. This is your step. Don't miss that opportunity. You see what I'm saying?
You're never going to have COVID-19 with the whole pandemic in the whole world, right? And at the same time, Black Lives Matter for the whole world. You're never gonna have a time like this.
That's right.
You're gonna die before another time like this. And then people say, well, it's not gonna change. It's not gonna change because people like you are saying it's not gonna change.
Yeah.
Until you are up there and you're fighting for it, being a leader, people will follow them. So I think it's really just taking the courage.
It's crazy, man. So something else I want us to talk about as well is so you are the juve, right?
I was locked up.
Right. And when did you start, like, the acting as well, poetry, all that? When did that come? Like, when do you have that before that as well, or like you say, you had a potential, but you didn't know what was exactly? Right. When that clicks, and from there start to act, and then literally was just like, navigation of you keep growing.
Well, I mean, I think you want to do it all starts from a broad idea.
Yes.
You have huge ideas, right? You just think, maybe I'm going to do something like this.
Yes.
I was locked up, and there was when I was locked up, I thought I was happy because I could get rest. I was tired of fighting the world.
Yeah.
I'm just, but
just the depressed and stuff.
But when I get in there and you in a box, like a tight, and you just know your clothes is not yours. The metal bed, everything cold. After a while, like, you just really go crazy. Like, you stay, like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I didn't think this was gonna be like this. But it's not one day. It's not 2 days. You think your life is over. Like, some people lose their mind. Some people commit suicide in there because, they don't know what to do. So 18 months of me being inside. After, like, my first 2-3 months, I went to go get my GED. I got my GED. After I got my GED, I went to go ahead and go enter college. I had a 3.9 GPA in college. And then there was a theater group that came inside, and they started doing theater, and we started doing just like a little bit of acting. And I was the main character then.
Right. And
it was only 7 of us. 24 of us started. I think it was 7 of us left.
Right.
And then after, we performed for our peers. The homies we were locked up with, the one that we were always yelling and beefing with.
Yes.
After we performed,
they clapped.
Just like, bro. Even the staff, they were like, yo, that was deep. Because it's like we were reenacting our lives, And we were saying the truth.
Wow.
So, you can't be, as a man, they said, don't talk about your feelings. That shit is very damaging. 100%.
Thank you.
Like, it's extremely damaging that the fact that we cannot express what's inside, and then you want to go ahead and drink and smoke, and then take it out on your significant other later on in life. You don't know how to talk about you. That made me angry earlier. Can you please apologize? Instead of you want us to be mad, it's I understand it's not our fault because we're not taught it in society.
It's conditional, yeah.
It's conditional.
Yeah.
So that's like the where I kind of started the theater stuff. And then after, when I got out 3 years later, I did one poem and people were just amazed by it.
Wow.
Then I continued.
Wow, man. Yo. I don't know, man. It's just powerful, honestly. So this is the thing I want you to, after you see yourself before and the middle of it and here, what can you tell young you and other black kids to avoid that? Or even happens, how can you bounce back, man? How can you be like, listen, this is my life experience. I'm gonna take this energy, just shift it in a positive to grow into it.
Bro, I think first thing is like, forgive yourself.
Wow.
It don't matter what it is. The world won't forgive you, forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes are meant to happen. Without mistakes, you don't learn.
Mm-hmm.
As a child, when you fell walking, you got up, you made a mistake, but you learn how to walk right.
Mm-hmm.
That's how life is. You have to make the mistakes. And until the best people, even if, for example, Islamically, they say, does God like someone who never commit mistakes or someone who makes mistakes and come back?
The one who make mistakes come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have to understand, if we make a mistake, even if the state wants to arrest you, forgive yourself. That's the first thing. The second thing after you do that is concentrate and remove the distraction that's out in the world. You know how we always on our phone, our mind expectancy is just like, we're just distracted easily. All day we're on Snapchat, all day we're on looking at the hottest news, what happened to this person. There's people that move and there's people that watch.
Yeah.
If you're a person that watches, you're not gonna get anywhere in life. Like, you gotta put that stuff away, because either you wanna be watched. Why can't I be that person? So be the person.
Mm-hmm.
So just believe in yourself and do that. And even if you make a mistake, you mess up, you did, this is my first time I'm doing a podcast.
Yes.
You're not gonna do it good.
That's
but I
right.
promise you the fifth time is gonna be good.
Yes.
You're gonna learn so much. You wanna do acting, you wanna be a singer, but you know you have a good voice, but you're kinda shy.
Yes.
Just try it.
Yes.
You mess up second, third time, fourth time, fifth time, you're fired.
Right.
Everybody does it. So I think it's just unlearning that we are low and mistaken, and just relearning that we are great as as an individual. It's just personal power.
Wow. Yes, man. Yeah. That's you are 100% right. Like we distracted, especially every day, new stuff coming up. Like every day we got some stuff distract you, so you have to literally take yourself out and then find something really you gotta focus on yourself. Right. Something else I was about to say. So you're young, you're doing this. How far you want to take this, man?
I mean, the only thing that can stop you is death.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that can stop you is God. You people that don't believe in God, the universe, whatever they want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I have the ability to keep going every day,
Mm-hmm.
your life is gonna keep going. Then you just do your best. If you have one life, no matter what religion you follow, you have one perspective. Okay, I have this long.
Mm-hmm.
Do the best. Today I'm gonna do the best I can do.
Wow.
But tomorrow I'm gonna do the best I can do.
Yeah.
And then you just get, every day is a movie.
Right.
So you just try this movie.
Wow.
And so I don't see myself stopping. Any opportunities I take, and then after a while you start to get a lot of opportunities, and you can pick and choose which one you want.
Wow.
You know?
My man. Before we close, I want you to tell people about your humble philosopher, your project, just a little about, and where people can find you and follow you. And please, guys, you gotta support my brother. You're not gonna regret. And tell them about this. Tell everybody about it. Yeah.
My Instagram page is Humble Philosopher 2020. Just that's my activist page. But if you click on the top tab, or if you go to Humble Poetry 2020, that's all my poetry that I'm starting up, working with a lot of youth right now to create small movies and stuff like that. Just like trying to branch out and do lots of different things. But poetry is really where people have gotten out into the community, and it makes people focus rather than listen to people talk all the time. If you listen to poetry and catches your eye, it's not a song, but it also it's there for educational purposes, for you to see the other side of situations rather than what you see on TV.
Right. Thank you so much, Ali. I cannot tell how much I'm humbly to have you here. And guys, please go support your local artist, your local business, anybody who's your local can access. is worth it to support those people, and especially Ali, who works so hard from young age, still working hard. Go support everybody, and thank you guys to tune in. See you next time. Thank you, Ali.